Welcome to Bedhampton Church. Contact us at www.bedhampton.church. But for now, let's continue that journey with this input.
You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. How many times in your life have you said or thought that? I know I have. I love my family, and I feel very blessed to have the family that I do. But when I was going through my teenage years, particularly a slightly rebellious stage where I was listening to heavy metal music and had a desire to dye my hair black, I would have jumped at the chance to change my family. Thankfully, I grew out of that stage relatively quickly, not least thanks to my parents who didn't let me dye my hair. This is the underlying story of today's movie choice. It is a visually beautiful film set in the Scottish Highlands with rolling hills and crystal locks. Our heroine is the spirited Princess Merida, daughter to King Fergus and Queen Eleanor. Merida isn't your typical Disney princess. She would rather have a bow and arrow than a glass slipper, and is more at home on the back of a horse than she is a throne. She also has a slightly more realistic hairstyle than some of the other Disney princesses. The Queen is trying to force Merida into an arranged marriage to one of three rather goofy lords. The central theme of this movie is that Merida wants to be allowed to be herself and defies that custom of arranged marriage by enlisting the help of a witch for a spell that will change her mother. Of course, as with most Disney films, this spell goes terribly wrong. Rather than just changing the Queen's mind about Merida's betrothal, the spell turns the Queen into a bear. The body-switching humour is quite brilliant. Queen Eleanor's attempts to be ladylike and exhibit proper human manners while in bear form is some of the funniest scenes Disney has ever produced. Lucas was in hysterics when we watched it last week. Merida and her mother must now mend the bond in their relationship in order to turn her mother back into a human. Throughout the film, mother and daughter go on a journey of discovery where they have to work together and ultimately grow closer together. Of course, as you've just seen, like most Disney films, there's a lovely tear-jerking happy ending. There are an awful lot of themes in this movie that we could discuss, such as reconciliation, fate, and evil. But today I wanted to focus on the theme of family. You can't choose your family, you're stuck with them. Merida was stuck with her overbearing mother, and so seeks a way to change her. In our gospel reading this morning, we heard Jesus declaring who his family are. When told that his mother and brothers were waiting outside, his response was, "Who is my mother and my brother?" He looks around at those sitting with him, those who are following him, and says, "Here are my mother and my brother. Whoever does God's will is my brother and my sister and my mother." Our Ephesians reading this morning says that we should be humble, gentle, and patient with one another. It tells us to love each other. Perhaps if the heroines of our movie had followed that advice, they might not have ended up in the pickle that they were in the first place. Or perhaps the message of this film is that we shouldn't use magic spells and turn each other into bears when we disagree. But where's the fun in that? Our Ephesians reading goes on to say there is one body and one spirit. We are called to one hope, one Lord, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. As I said a moment ago, I am grateful for the family that I have and the relationships that I have with them. But standing up here today and looking out upon you all, I'm looking out upon the rest of my family. These last 8 months, you have welcomed Chris, Lucas, and I into your family here. You have all supported, encouraged, motivated, and inspired me. In the words of A.A. Mill, how lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. You are the family that I choose. So even though today is my last Sunday here with you at Bedhampton, I am assured that we are all still the children of God. Earlier in the book of Ephesians, it says, God adopts us into his family, bringing us to himself through Jesus Christ. So whoever said you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, I think, has obviously never belonged to a church. Amen.
Amen. You have been listening to Bedhampton Church. Our prayer is that this helps you journey with Jesus and serve your community by sharing God's love and friendship. Subscribe and join us for more discussion at www.bedhampton.church. All material Creative Commons copyright. Contact us for more details.